I, Kritika Goyal, with Rohit sir today, are here again for a question and answer session on Judicial Services Examination Preparation Course 2.0 launched by LiveLaw Academy. We are thrilled to have you all here this evening. We have also been live on Instagram. Do check out the video in case some of your questions get answered there. And let's get started. What say, Rohit sir?
Thank you and good evening. Again, we are here to answer all your queries. Any doubt, any question that you have regarding JSIP and JSIP Lite, we are here to guide you.
So in the meantime, I would also like to announce that apart from JSIP and JSIP Lite, we have also launched combo courses. So in these combo courses, what we've done is that Justice Ved Prakash Sharma sir is going to be taking CPC and Limitation Act thereafter. So if someone wants, they can sign up for just CPC and Limitation Act combination, and Akanksha ma'am is going to be taking a Contract Act and SRA classes. So you can also sign up for just Contract Act and SRA. And if you want, you can sign up for both. So all the 4 subjects also you can sign up for together. So in the next 3 to 4 months, coming 3 to 4 months, we'll be covering these subjects by the said faculties, and we're just absolutely excited. Anyone has any questions, we would love to answer. Maybe just judicial services question linked to your preparation. If you just want to tell us which state you're preparing for, what did you prepare today? What did you read today? Did you solve any MCQs today? Why don't you just put it in the comment section very quickly, the state you're preparing for, and yes, if you solved any MCQs today, and no, if you didn't. And I want to see a lot of yeses.
Coming back to these individual courses,
Yes,
actually these courses, they give an opportunity to those who were in this process of preparation, and they find that something is missing, and sometimes we find that a particular subject has missed our attention, and we require to brush up things or just go in some more depth into the same. So these courses are designed in such a way. That's why we are giving you this opportunity, and you can avail it if you feel something was there, some gap was there which requires to be fulfilled. And yes.
Certainly. So I think these courses, if they would have been at the time when I was doing my LLB, my life would have become very easy. It's not to say that I had the best faculties at my law college, but this would have just given me that extra push, that extra factor to do better at moot courts, to understand law even better, to get my doubts resolved. You know, it's just that practical knowledge you get without actually going to courts, which I love about this, that you're able to imagine and you're able to really be in the core of the action,
right.
which Justice Matthew sir brings, which Justice Ved Prakash Sharma sir brings, which Justice Ram Kumar sir brings. It's just amazing how they just place you right in the middle of the action. I'm so looking forward to that.
The classes will be filled with so much of practical knowledge that you will normally not find the same in books. Whatever book you refer to, mostly they are theory centric.
Right.
So practical aspect is somewhere missing. And that's why we have designed these courses and classes in such a way. LiveLaw Academy has taken this step, that the gap that is there between theory and practical aspects of law, it can be fulfilled. And it will help not only the judiciary aspirants, not only the students, but also those who want to practice. Right?
Certainly, sir. Certainly.
I see one question.
Yes, sir.
Though we have discussed it many times. It is again regarding the recordings that are available.
Yes. So, so the recordings are available for 1 year, right? So from the day the course will end, the subject will end for you, the entirety of the recordings, each and every class which took place in that subject, the entirety will be available for 1 year more. It's not like one class will get deleted with time. Either the entirety will get deleted after 1 year, or everything will stay, right? So we don't believe in giving you deadlines of that nature, that one class is going to vanish, do it very quickly. Also, we don't want to promote lethargy and laziness, but we do understand that there can be commitments where you would want to revisit what you've been taught. There can be instances where you just want to watch back the recordings despite of having attended a live class, just to refresh, or just to understand again, or to better ask doubts. And we understand that these things might come in the due course of your revision. One thing is being in the process of doing your live classes and studying daily, revising daily, and everything. So once one of the subjects is over, let's say your CPC is over and your contract act is over, now there might just come 2 months or 3 months of a gap in your preparation where you focused on some other subject and you weren't able to revise CPC and contract act. And after 2 3 months, you pick up CPC and contract act and you're like, you know what, let's revise it today. And that is when you realize that some of the concepts are not there in your head and you want to revisit them again. So that this is where the entirety of the recordings being there for you helps you. That it's not just that one topic you can do, but sometimes it just happens that let me see what has happened before this, what was after this, what was linked to this otherwise. So the entirety will be available for 1 whole year. And if you think about it, with all the uncertainties that are there right now, it's a good idea to have this recording for such a long time. So this will give you 2.5, 3 years of being linked to your studies in some or the other way, right? So that will also be like that you're in touch with some studies throughout.
Then, ma'am, there is another question I have received through Zoom.
Yes, sir.
That what about, will there be case compilations for each subject?
Yes. Yes.
I think I can take this one.
Please, sir. So please also discuss about notes in the same
Okay.
breath. Yeah.
Okay. So for each subject, we have very detailed notes. So whatever is being discussed in the classes, mostly you'll find the same thing in the notes. But we always add new information, new cases in those notes. So every single time there will be an improved version. Then coming to the case compilations, for each individual subject, we will be giving you case compilations. We'll be discussing case laws in the classes. You will find them in the notes also. But wherever we feel, or the faculty concerned feels that you should read full text of the judgment to completely appreciate that topic, to completely understand that topic, then the same will be included separately in case compilation. For example, let's say there are 50 judgments on arrest. Most of them are discussed in the class. Most of them you will find in the notes. But on the landmark ones, or the most recent ones we have, which have shaped the law in some way, or there is some change in the interpretation, those judgments will be taken out separately and it will form part of your case compilations. That is the idea.
Right, sir. So there's another question. So they're asking what is the importance of Bare Act reading, and how I think what they're trying to say is that will the subject be taken Bare Act wise in that order,
Okay.
or it is going to be topic wise taught
Okay.
that way?
Okay. So for procedural laws, especially BNSS and CPC, the course has been structured in such a way as the case proceeds in the court. So it will not be a complete sequence-wise reading of the Bare Act. What we'll be following will be the most logical sequence of things, so that you are able to understand why this particular provision is there. Okay, now why this process, why this step comes in the entire process, in the entire scheme of things. That is the idea. And it is more possible for procedural laws. For substantive laws, it will be majorly bare act wise, and you'll mostly find same sequence. But for procedural law specifically, we emphasize that we should read and learn in the same way the case proceeds. So BNSS we have done uh, in the same fashion, and we have complete intention of repeating the same with CPC also.
Absolutely, sir. So I also feel that every law has its own way,
Correct.
of
Correct.
flowing.
Correct. Correct. So for contract,
Yeah.
let's take example of contract. That is the most basic law, or people think that it is the basic law, but it has many intricacies. And that subject is something you can read sequence wise, section wise. Some to and fro can be done between section 1 to 10. That is all right. But mostly you can approach it topic wise. But you cannot repeat the same strategy with BNSS and CPC. Right. So, for example,
Absolutely.
if you are reading
Yes.
sanctions that you require to initiate the proceedings against public servants, or you want to initiate proceedings for any offense that concern the courts, giving false evidence, for example. Now, there is a particular procedure separately prescribed for that towards the end of the Bare Act. So if we'll not read that section along with the section concerning sanction, then the meaning, complete meaning will not be conveyed. So we will jump onto that provision first and then again come back to the next step, right? That's how we will be approaching.
So I think there's another question. So this one wants to know that whether it is good for a first time judiciary aspirant. So I think probably we can address this question, that whether this course is an advanced course, in the sense that it's specifically for students who might know a little bit about law already, or they've done something before, they've read before, or is it also a very beginner friendly course that
Every topic will be dealt in such a way that even a first year student can understand it, and then will be starting from such a point, and then we will take to it to the level where it will be beneficial for those who are practicing, it will be beneficial for those who are working for corporates, or who want to contribute to firms, corporate culture, or the academics, whatever. So the idea is we'll start from A and then take each topic to Z, right? Without missing anything in between. That is the idea. I think that answers the
right,
question.
sir? It does. It's a very holistic course, and I remember the BNSS initial classes, and you know, as someone who's read the law already, I'll be very honest. Initially, I was like, you know what, maybe sir is just rushing through things. Sir is just assuming. And then later I realized that Matthew sir was just giving an overview.
Right,
He was going to go threadbare into each and every word he said in the class.
right.
He was, for the first few classes, he was just giving like a bird's eye view of the whole BNSS CRPC for us to just place the upcoming topics in places.
Those classes were only to familiarize everybody with the
Right,
entire sequence of things, how the classes will proceed and how the case normally proceeds. So,
right,
but then no single provision was left out.
right. Any other questions, anyone?
And
Like
there
to
is
ask?
one.
Yes,
There
sir.
is one regarding the questions. How a participant during the live classes will be able to seek clarifications
Okay.
from the faculty.
Right, sir. So you can give your experience with
Okay.
BNSS classes, sir. How did that
Yes,
go?
that thing is true for every subject, every class. So during the live classes, you will be able to put questions to the faculty directly. Then no question is turned down by saying that it is not important. Then apart from that, even after the class gets over, you will have the opportunity during doubt sessions to again revisit the topic and ask the question. Even then, let's say you were busy during that week, entire week, you missed the class, you missed the doubt session, then also there will be an opportunity to clarify your doubts through LiveLaw Academy. You can shoot any number of questions. They will be forwarded to the concerned faculty, right? And when we receive same kinds of queries from multiple participants, then we make sure that the same is discussed again in the class, right? So good 4 or 5 opportunities are provided to each and every participant in the or by utilizing all these ways, you can address your queries.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Anyone has any other questions, they can put it in the chat box. You can also comment with what state you're preparing for and whether you did your MCQs today. Right, Maharashtra, Odisha. Great, great. Bihar, UP, yes. So since we're talking about Bihar and UP, so it just stuck to me that in JSIP 2.0, we're actually doing special classes for GK and current affairs.
Right.
So the entire GK, like history, geography, everything is going to science and technology, international relations, a little bit of that, because UP asks questions. So we're covering all of that, and current affairs on a weekly basis, and it'll be great. We're also holding special classes for Hindi. That's also Punjab, yes, great. So there's still no update about the 3 years practice judgment, but keep preparing. We're also having people from Jammu and Kashmir preparing. That's amazing.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
All the very best to everyone.
All the very best. If you have any questions, Pranjal, Janvi, please tell us. Please let us know. We're more than happy to answer your questions. Pranjal, I say that you're part of us. You're part of the program. So happy to see you here. So excited to have you. So with UP and Punjab, I also just want to tell all the viewers that with respect to the last notification, official notification that came out for these states, our 45 subjects that we're covering in JSIP 2.0, it covers their syllabus basically in its entirety, along with Delhi, along with Haryana, Jharkhand. Some state-specific GK and current affairs is still something that they will have to work on, right? But most of your laws are covered. So not much is to be done by you. We're doing everything for you. You just have to join the classes, study, revise regularly, make notes, have a habit of writing, develop a habit of answer writing, solving MCQs.
And one more thing that we'll be testing you every week.
Yes, we will be testing you every week. So I think Jani wants to know BNS, BNSS के लिए books कौन सी रेफर करनी चाहिए? सब नए जो कोर्सेज, नए जो लॉज आए हैं, BNS, BNSS और BSA, कोई बुक रेफर कर पाए बच्चे अगर कोई बुक आपके दिमाग में हो?
Yes, if you get this R&D student edition, I think now they have revised the provisions in light of the new BNS and BNSS, even BSA. So I found that book in particular it will be more useful. It has good relevant literature from the past acts, and they are very meticulously discuss the differences that there are.
Right.
So my suggestion would be, if you are seriously giving it a thought, then R&D should be the best source.
So Janvi, Ratan Lal and Dheeraj Lal, But I always suggest everyone, whenever we suggest books, is that please go to a library, please go to a bookstore, look at the book, spend a little time with the book, familiarize yourself with how it's structured, because every book is not structured the same way. Some are commentaries, some are textbook like. So you should absolutely go familiarize yourself with the book, understand it. You also think that whether this book will work for you and is it doing everything that you want it to do for you, and then only make that purchase, right? So this is not that we're endorsing any particular book that you straight up go and buy it. These are just suggestions where you can just definitely go to a bookstore or a library and check it out before making any purchases. So there's a question that is there a good book for case laws and recent legal developments? Hi, there's not a book. There's LiveLaw.in for that. You just have to subscribe to
Yes.
LiveLaw.in. But sir, please, if there's also a book,
No,
because
there is no such book. No
there's
such
actually case laws and recent legal developments.
no book.
No as such book that
No,
I've
because you
also
can
come
prepare
across.
that beforehand. That is one issue. Then whatever weekly things are coming, they are very detail oriented, and some of the cross connections are made in such a way that it is not relevant for the examinations. So I will not recommend any of those sources. If you want to prepare recent cases, then LiveLaw Academy is also offering recent case analysis free of cost on the YouTube channel. So you can watch those videos. Then for those of you who are planning to join this course, there will be dedicated sessions on
Yes.
current legal developments,
Yes.
both legal GK and case law analysis. So
Right.
we discuss all the cases relevant from examination point of view in great details with facts and everything. And if that is it, I think you should if make your own notes by visiting livelaw.in.
Absolutely. So the student who's asked this question, they've said that they've already subscribed to LiveLaw, right?
Okay.
So what you need to do in your recent, what you already have that subscription, you need to use it very nicely. So when you see daily a judgment is posted, try and read through the judgment first, see what points are relevant and whether it goes in line with your syllabus or not. If it does, just make a repository, have a register or some digital note, in the sense that there's a name of the case, judges, because nowadays they ask the name of honorable judges, justices in the question sometimes. So if there's a dissenting opinion, some celebrated judgment, who's written that judgment, that note, and then in a very brief manner, not more than 3 to 5 lines, just write what was held. And if there are any beautiful lines that you come across while reading the judgment, also note them down. So I think this exercise is something which every judicial aspirant should develop, it just, and this is lifelong, to be very honest. You as a judge will be writing judgments and you will be requiring beautiful lines and legal updations to your knowledge. This is just something that you do. So Rohit sir, there's a question for you. So what is the importance of GK in preliminary examination? So this
Importance
is
of
by
GK,
जानवी. हाँ,
yes.
हमें ये
Importance.
समझना है कि सब, मुझे जानवी कह रही हैं कि वो पंजाब टारगेट कर रही हैं, तो उन्होंने आगे पहले कमेंट में लिखा हुआ है पंजाब. सो जीके की इम्पोर्टेंस इन व्यू ऑफ पंजाब जुडिशरी, आई थिंक, और फिर अदर बाकी के स्टेट्स के लिए भी. हम ऐसे नहीं कर सकते कि सिर्फ पंजाब के बारे में बात कर रहे हो हमें बाकियों के.
Okay. So for GK, we should not develop this tendency that we'll study GK only if it is asked in our state. GK is something that you cannot simply ignore. Reason being, as a judge, as a judicial officer, you'll be expected to be very aware about your surroundings. And because judge will not be very active or vocal about things, but he or she will be able to give his or her services to the nation in a much better way if he or she is aware, right? So irrespective of the fact whether it is coming in your target state or not, you should prepare for general knowledge. You should not develop this tendency that I'm just targeting Punjab, or I'm just targeting Haryana. They are not required for prelims as they are required for UP and Bihar, right? So we'll pay less attention to it. That should not be the attitude, right? I think.
So there's also one importance I feel. Uh, so if you're reading GK or current affairs, general, I'm including both here. So I'm including history in general, geography, economics in general, and then your current newses that are there. So first I want to highlight that if you don't actually know basic economics, basic geography, basics, very basics, I'm not saying go in depth, but very, very basics, then you will actually not be able to understand why and what is happening around the world right now, right? You will not be able to contextualize things as well as you should be able to, right? Second, then you have to write compulsory essays. In every paper, you have to write essay, each and every state. Punjab, I think there's also a Punjabi paper, right? Your language paper or regional language paper. Some of the states also require you to write uh, essays in those languages, right? So now, and these essays, these topics these days have become very contemporarily relevant. Like very socially relevant, very legally relevant. Uh, in that way, if you don't know what is happening around the world and what happened previously around the world, it just doesn't, it just shows a very disconnect, right? है ना जानवी, आपको ऐसा लगेगा, आप जब ऐसे लिखोगे ना तो आपको लगेगा, जो पढ़ रहा होगा उसको लगेगा बस आपने ना मोटी मोटी बातें करके आप चले गए, आपने कनेक्ट नहीं करा कि पुरान हिस्ट्री में ये हुआ था, इकोनॉमिक्स की पॉलिसी ये है। मैं ये नहीं कह रही कि आप बहुत डिटेल में लिखो, बट थोड़ा थोड़ा लिखो, है ना, थोड़ा आपको पता होना चाहिए, तो आप ना कुछ अच्छे एग्जाम्पल्स भी दे पाओगे अगर आप ये चीज करोगे तो। वो एक एनेक्डोट्स बन जाएंगे, कई बार बस लेंथ बढ़ाने के लिए ऐसे की आपको बहुत हेल्प कर जाता है, क्योंकि आपको पता नहीं है एग्जाम में कौन सी चीज आपको कब स्ट्राइक कर जाए कि दिस वर्क्स, let me write this is relevant. So, and you have time, why shouldn't you should invest at least 15 to 30 minutes. You should be a well read judge, it should feel so, and your personality gets developed when you do these things. And you should definitely do it. It is important, it is important according to me. So there's a question, ma'am, Hindi in so Jasdeep is a Hindi medium student and he wants to switch to English, but he's facing difficulties in reading the Bare Act and writing the answers. So what should he do to enhance his English legally to be able to understand the Bare Act and also write answers? So first of all, I want to ask Jasdeep if you can reply very quickly to me. Jasdeep, do you have a Diglot edition of Bare Acts, or is it just Hindi and just English? Or you have two different? Is it the Diglot edition of Bare Acts? If you don't know what Diglot is, for all the viewers who probably might not know what Diglot editions are, so they are basically Bare Acts. On one page there will be Hindi and true English, right? So it's true translation basically in front of, on the same page. Like if you open, so Hindi and then English of that. So anyone who's targeting Madhya Pradesh exams also should also actually get Diglot edition Bare Acts, because they really help in legal translation, vice versa. So Jasdeep, if you can really quickly tell us whether you have a Diglot edition of Bare Acts or not. And so there's also a question till the time Jasdeep is answering me. So we'll just quickly take this question. How can I improve my mains answer writing and scores higher in mains? And please provide some tips for those who have not joined any coaching.
Right.
So we have two questions. एक तो हिंदी मीडियम बच्चों के लिए
Yes, I
हमारे पास,
got both the
है
questions.
ना? So मैं
Yeah.
जसदीप के आंसर का वेट कर रही हूँ कि जसदीप मुझे आंसर देंगे.
Okay, for improving answer writing, mains answer writing, the only thumb rule that you should follow. Imagine yourself that you are attending some call and you are supposed to make the other person understand where your actual residence is. right? You need to give some directions. The other person is not a tech savvy person, not using Google Maps or just not having any smartphone. And you want that person to be there for some services. But now you need to guide that person. How will you guide that person? You will tell what are the landmarks in the near area, when to take a left, when to take a right, right? The same approach should be followed while writing an answer. You must lay down a path for the examiner to follow clearly as to what he or she will be seeing next, so that the answer that the examiner is looking for to a particular question, it gets very clear in a crystal clear form, right? So what will you do? You will write some headings, you will cite some examples, you will cite the sections, right? Basically, you will lay down the breadcrumbs to the exact path that the examiner can follow and reach the final conclusion, right? And you must place everything in three broad categories. Introduction, there should be a main body, and finally, the conclusion part. If it is a problem-based question, then you have to give a decision. If it is a general straightforward question, then also you must write one or two lines concluding as to what is the position of law in that area, right? So that is the only tip that I would like to give everybody, that this is how you approach answer writing.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Then do we have an answer from
Jasdeep.
yes,
So I don't think so.
just the Diglot.
Sir, yes, Jasdeep
Diglot.
has Diglot edition.
Right.
Great.
Right.
So what
So,
should be done?
yes. Okay, let me tell you a very personal story. So initially, I used to struggle a lot with this English, and when I was in first year of my law school, so I did it from IB main campus and then masters afterwards from National Law University Bhopal. So in the first semester, when we were supposed to make presentations before the lecturers, before the professors, then on the day of presentation, instead of giving it in the classroom, I insisted my professor that can I give it in separately in your cabin, because I struggled with English with such an extent.
Hmm.
So I thought that I will not be able to convey my idea properly in front of the entire class. I will not be able to frame 5 or 6 sentences in continuity, right? So from there, that started a journey as to how I can improve in both writing and conveying my ideas properly in English. So you must not be underconfident about it. That is the first step in the process. Second, be in that constant learning phase, right? You can watch the interviews in English. You will how have you learned the Hindi in the first place, or any other tongue for that matter? You have listened other people to speak, right? They have spoken some things before you, and then you caught those things. Same is with English, right? Watch the interviews, watch the plays that are available on YouTube, watch the series for that matter, interesting series. Then reading, I would not suggest, because separately you must not dedicate this your time for reading English in order to improve it. Why? Because most of the time will be utilized for preparing for these examinations, right? So when you attempt answer writing, you can just open the book in front of you, or the notes, or the class that you are watching. Anything can be your source, and then um, at the same time, try attempting an answer, a question, write an answer, right? Do it several times, and then it becomes a habit. Then it will come naturally to you, right? So wherever you get the opportunity, listen to English, try to incorporate. Wherever you get the opportunity, you just open the source in front of you and start writing any question, attempt the answers, right? It is a matter of habit. Language is a matter of habit, nothing else, nothing else, right?
Absolutely, sir.
And don't try to
Absolutely.
escape it. It is a must thing now. Don't try to escape it. But at the same time, don't be very unconfident about it in a way that you completely give up, right? And for legal language, you have a Diglot edition. Wonderful. Whatever provision you are reading in English, read the same provision in Hindi, and this exercise will be beneficial also for the purposes of translation. Translation in some of the states will be asked to translate from Hindi to English and English to Hindi, right? So this exercise will be beneficial in that way also.
Absolutely. So I think this is a very fresh perspective from people suggesting that please go read a newspaper. I think this will work out. है ना Jasdeep? I think this will work out. आप ये करके देखो एक बार. Try this and let us know. Please write to us on the email. We would love to hear back from you. I would love to hear back from you how your journey is going with respect to preparing for this in English. Judiciary@liveLaw.in पे please आप email कीजिएगा हमें कि आपका कैसा चला. ये यूजफुल रहा या नहीं. We would love to give you better suggestions. अगर ये नहीं भी अच्छा चला तो प्लीज बताना ताकि हम और better suggestion दे पाए आपको. So there's another question. It says that since static general studies, basically history, geography portion is quite vast, what is the most effective way to cover it, especially from the perspective of judiciary examinations? So I think this is where our classes come in. You know, this is exactly, Neeraj, where the classes come in, where you're only taught what is absolutely necessary for your exams perspective. Otherwise, there's so much that it's so easy to get lost. I had read your question and I was honestly thinking of, I'd initially thought, Rohit sir, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that I'll suggest the student to go through NCRTs. But while I read the question out loud, I felt like, no, I think that's not the best approach because it's so vast. Even the NCRTs are so vast. Neeraj, probably the best way to go about this could also be that you pick up all the previous year question papers from UP, Bihar, and other states where it's most frequently questions are asked from, preliminary and mains both, right? And then you start making a note of the topics which are covered there. Okay, so make a note of topics. So, for example, there was a question on Gandhi's movement, there's a question on modern, there's a question on ancient history. Just keep making a note. Make a note of geography similarly, make a note of economics. So, you'll have a broad idea of what is being asked and what is being repeatedly asked, right? So, that could be a good starting point to dive into things, and then just don't go too far from these topics, just go around them. Okay, so analyze the previous year question papers and then just dive into it. So try to go from the basics to that level only. Don't go too much, right? With history, Rohit sir, what happens with me is that when I studied history, I was a commerce student through and through. Right, I've tried to clear CA examinations and then I got into philosophy and law and everything. So I never really studied history like as you do in school or colleges in your
Right.
courses, right? So when I started studying history for exams, I got carried away. I simply got carried away because I was like, this is interesting. This is contextualizing so many things of constitution for me, that why is what provision made? What was the whole purpose of things? I just got carried away with history, and this is what I want to give everyone a rider the disclaimer that please don't get carried away. You need to know where you need to stop, because ultimately we're preparing for an exam, and it has to be, the strategy has to be with respect to clearing that exam and not to do any masters. You have your entire life after becoming judges to actually go dive into those topics again and then
Right.
just
And
make your knowledge rich.
learning is a constant exercise. And rightly
Absolutely.
said that students must shed off this FOMO of missing
Right.
out on things, or this attitude that I do not know everything, how I will be able to qualify for the examinations, right? Because always there be something to read, always there will be something to understand, to revisit, to revise, right? All these things will happen because learning is a constant process and it should be a constant endeavor, right? Not only it should not come as a mandatory exercise, it should be our endeavor, right? Then yes, just please shed off this fear that the syllabus is vast, how
I
a
know.
person can be able to will be able to handle everything, every topic. That is
True.
not required.
Yeah. So with personal experience, I feel I'll just say this very quickly because we're in this turn, and then there's another question. So I remember when I was going for my first mains examination and I was thinking that, wait, I don't know everything. And then one of my mentors, they told me that you need not know everything. Your preparation is never going to be over. You will never feel that you know everything of everything and that you're ready for the exam. All you need to do is that you need to have your revision on point. So it can never be that way. So now the next question is, so is it better to make our own notes or prepare using books and ready-made notes together instead of making own notes? So I think that's a question.
Okay, this can be bifurcated into three different things: using books, using ready-made notes, and making personalized notes. So first, I'll discuss using books. So books are full of information. Then it becomes a very time consuming exercise to spell out the exam specific and exam relevant information from the book. Then there will always be a chance that you can get carried away, as Kritika ma'am has just pointed out, right? फिर हमको ये लगता है ये भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, ये भी पढ़ लेता हूँ, अरे ये पॉइंट तो रह गया. So books should be avoided. If you have the time, you are still in first, second year, then or third year, then still they can be your source. But otherwise, books carry a lot of information which is simply not required for the examination purposes. One thing. Second thing, ready-made notes. So for ready-made notes, if you are referring to somebody else's notes, then it becomes problematic because they must have used some tricks for themselves. They must have approached the note making in some personalized way. If it fits your purpose, then well and good. But otherwise, it can be a very problematic and frustrating exercise. And sometimes, then there will be a FOMO kicking in. You will say, okay, what if this person has not jotted down the correct case law, or the wrong observation, or the wrong conclusion, right? Then it becomes problematic. Then personalized notes. You must always make an endeavor to make personalized notes on each topic. However, at LiveLaw Academy, the notes will be very detail oriented, and they are formatted in such a way that you can use the same notes for making a note of new things, incorporating new case laws, new observations, some code that you've found somewhere which was very interesting, right? So annotations can be done in the same set of notes. So we actually initiated the process in such a way by keeping these things in mind. So always go for personalized notes. That is my personal opinion. Don't refer to somebody else's notes. For books, if you have time, then go for it. But if you are somebody who is just looking to clear these examinations with the right amount of information at your disposal, right, then I think books are something that you can avoid. Limit yourself.
So I think books are like sifting grain from a shaft. It's so vast.
Exactly.
And when you start reading, you feel like everything is important.
Exactly.
At that time, you're unable to just identify what
Exactly.
to consume, what not to consume.
Exactly. So
I can also
yes,
so I can also give one pro tip, because the student who's asked us this question is preparing by themselves. So they've not taken any coaching, I believe. So what you can also do is, and they also have LiveLaw.in subscription. So what you can do to actually maximize and utilize it to the best of levels is that we have roundups. Monthly roundups are there in LiveLaw.in, correct? So sit down with weekly or monthly, however, how much time you have, depending on how much time you have. And they are bifurcated subject-wise, correct? So take the subject, take the month and sit. Now what you do is, one by one, you go through case laws with that one line which is provided in that roundup. You'll able be to understand that what is relevant there inside it. So some of the judgments, by just that one line, you will be able to, cancel out that this is not relevant for exam. This is not relevant for exam. So those judgments you've cancelled out. Great. Now you're left with a good amount of judgments. I understand that. I've done this exercise, so I know. So you're left with good amount of judgments even after doing this exercise, because then also you're feeling everything is important. Be patient, go through, open the judgments. What LiveLaw in its brief does is that they point out the good paragraphs, the relevant paragraphs as is. Go and just read that. See that these are the most important paragraphs and this is what has been written in it. Does it make sense from a judiciary perspective, from a perspective of previous year question papers? If it is, then keep it on a separate side. If it is not, can reject it. Okay. Now, after this exercise, you're also left with, let's say, you started off with these many, now you're left with this many case laws. Now, these case laws become actually your textbooks on that topic. So let's say there's a question on dowry death. Okay, so dowry death, you'll pick up their two judgments. You pick up those two judgments, you make your notes out of those judgments, and that's it. That's it. All you do from next time onwards is whatever new judgment on dowry death comes, you go and you read that judgment. If there's a new point, then only add it to your notes. Otherwise, don't make it too bulky. You will not be able to revise it at the end of the at the D day. You will not be able to revise. So the goal is to have less but best, right? So that you can do multiple revisions of it.
Perfect.
Right? So there's a question. So जसदीप भी पूछ रहे हैं कि which books are good for major acts. जसदीप, हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि बुक्स बहुत मुश्किल है नेविगेट करनी. बुक्स अगर आप अवॉइड कर सकते हो तो रोहित सर के हिसाब से भी और मेरे हिसाब से भी आपको अवॉइड करना चाहिए, क्योंकि कोई लिमिट नहीं है ना, आप कहाँ रुकोगे. और लाइव लॉ हिंदी भी है, सो आपको हिंदी में भी जजमेंट्स मिल रही हैं, आपको हिंदी में भी ब्रीफ्स मिल रहे हैं. सो आप वो चीज हिंदी में सेम एक्सरसाइज कर सकते हो कि आप अपना राउंड अप निकाला आपने और आपने सारा एक पूरा ये रोड मैप बनाया. तो आप हर महीने बेसिकली आप हर हफ्ते बैठो या तो और मेजर लॉज के लिए कर लो, तो वो कम कम केसेस होंगे, जल्दी निपट जाएंगे, है ना. जैसे आप मंडे के डे सेट कर लो कि मैं मंडे को बैठ के ये 2 सब्जेक्ट्स करूंगा 2-3 सब्जेक्ट्स बना ली, तो आपने एक शेड्यूल बना ली. ठीक है, तो जब तक नेक्स्ट मंडे आएगा, नया राउंड अप आएगा, तब तक आपका एक वो पिछला वाला वीक हो जाएगा. तो आप प्रॉब्ली एक वीक थोड़ा पीछे चल रहे होगे, बट ठीक है, कोई उसमें दिक्कत नहीं. आप समझ, आई होप ऑल ऑफ योर व्यूअर्स आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द स्ट्रैटेजी, राइट? I also hope that this is helpful.
But that gap that you are talking about, that gap can be filled when the notification comes, right? So don't have this thing. Yes, if you are going.
This is a very quick gap. हाँ, वो एक हफ्ते का आप यूं आप बैठोगे, जब एग्जाम सर पे होगा आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि कब हो जाएगा. नेहा, यस, आई विल ऑलवेज सजेस्ट मेक योर ओन नोट्स. चाहे आप कहीं से देखकर बना रहे हो, चाहे आप कोई क्लास से कर रहे हो, चाहे कुछ भी कर रहे हो, अपने हाथ से निकाली हुई चीज अलग होती है, वो दिमाग में भी अलग तरीके से छप जाती है. वो डिवाइन तरीके से आपने प्रिपरेशन कर ली होती है मेरे हिसाब से. तो अगर आपने अपने हाथ से कोई चीज निकाली है और आप कई बार अगर इतनी प्रैक्टिस कर लेते हो ना, तो आपके मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में आपका हाथ चल रहा होता है, आप अपने ब्रेन की स्पीड और हाथ की स्पीड मैच नहीं कर पा रहे होते, कि आपका हाथ में इतनी प्रैक्टिस हो जाती है कि आपका हाथ चल रहा है बस, और आपका ब्रेन अलग भी सोच रहा है, पर आपका हाथ उसी टाइम चलता जा रहा है. So do not underestimate the value of writing things. ये तो मेरे हिसाब से क्वेश्चन होना ही नहीं चाहिए कि लिखना है, अपने बनाना है या नहीं. या तो अपने छोटे छोटे बनाओ, अपना तो बनाना है. You have to make your own notes.
Then there is an aspect of this belongingness, sense of belongingness also.
Yes.
Right?
और वो बड़ी जल्दी खुल जाता है.
Yes,
तो अभी जैसे same aspirant, they've written that it's very tough to revise during mains examination, especially when you don't have breaks. So यही जब आपके हाथ के नोट्स होंगे ना, तो आप एकदम नेविगेट कर पाओगे उन्हें. आपको पता होगा वो कलर्ड होंगे, थोड़े से हाईलाइटेड होंगे, कुछ जगह स्टिकी नोट्स होंगे. आपको पता होगा कि आपने क्या चीज कहाँ लिखी हुई है और आपको क्या याद है और क्या याद नहीं है. मैं मीन्स के टाइम पे क्या करती थी सर, मैं ना केस लॉस की लिस्ट बहुत बनाती थी, क्योंकि मेरी वीकनेस थी केसेस के नाम याद रखना. मेरे को नाम ही नहीं याद होते थे, बिल्कुल भी नाम नहीं याद होते थे मुझे केस लॉज के नाम. एक 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 एग्जाम में मैं शरद बिरदीचंद शारदा की जजमेंट वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र, उसका ईयर गलत लिख कर आई हूँ. और मैं कि हे भगवान, एक लैंडमार्क जजमेंट का ईयर गलत लिख कर आना इज फेटल. Absolutely fatal. So मेरी habit होती थी that to make an index, like a subject-wise index,
Correct.
right? That these are the
And
cases.
if you do these kinds of exercises, then your notes actually become your personalized dictionary of that particular subject. That only you will be able to go through it in much simpler and faster way, and it will pay you at the time of examination.
Yes. Also, I think it also creates a sense of this is just a fun thing I want to say to just make the discussion on a light note. So एग्जाम देने जाते थे तो ट्रेन में बैठ के जा रहे हैं या बस में बैठ के जा रहे हैं. अब उस टाइम तो सभी जुडिशरी के सभी जा रहे हैं वो ट्रेन और
Correct.
बस सिर्फ इन्हीं से भरी हुई है खचाखच.
Correct, correct.
Correct. So now everybody has something or the other to revise in their hands, if you notice. Right. So मेरा दिमाग ऐसे चलता था कि किसके हाथ में क्या क्या है. सबकी प्रेपरेशन का लेवल थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आता था कि किसके हाथ में किसी के हाथ में बिल्कुल नई बैरक्स होती है. मैं कहा कोई बात नहीं, मैं ठीक हूँ. It was just a little sense of boosting my own confidence. So the idea of you bringing out 10 pages, 20 pages at that time, which only you can understand, is just your confidence really shoots up. And this exam is about confidence. So do what induces the maximum confidence in you. Figure that out. बोल के हो रहा है, लिख कर हो रहा है, क्या करके हो रहा है. Induce maximum confidence. Neha, you've written case law plan. I'm not sure what you're asking me by case law plan. Are you telling me
how to approach case laws?
Yes, how to approach case laws.
I think let's illustrate it. Let's say you are reading arbitration, and you are on this section setting aside arbitral awards, section 34, which is one of the major provisions from the Act, and most of the questions you'll find in the examinations from 34, be it direct or problem based. So there are many landmark judgments. Refer to those 3 or 4. I think this Booz Allen case is a must read. That becomes your landmark source. Then apart from that, keep an eye on the recent judgments, whatever recent cases that are coming up. For example, just a week or 10 days back, there was a judgment on 34, how courts can intervene and to what extent. And there were some major clarifications made in that judgment. And if you read the majority opinion, it was roughly around 40-45 pages, or I think it was 50-51 pages, but roughly only around those numbers, right? So then you incorporate or call out the information from the recent ones, as this has already been taken up. Kritika ma'am has already said that. Then call out that part of the information where they are actually clarifying the law further or stating something new, right? Then your case law compilation is complete. On 34, you have landmark judgments prepared, you have the recent ones also prepared, and only those recent ones which have actually made the difference or which are required to be prepared separately, not every single recent judgment. That is the way to go about it.
Right, sir. So we have another question. For clearing the preliminary examination of any state, are bare acts, landmark judgments, and conceptual clarity of topic sufficient, or is there anything else required beyond this? You're forgetting MCQ practice. Neeraj, you need to practice MCQs. I completely agree that in terms of knowledge gaining, this might just be sufficient. Rohit, I don't think without practicing MCQ questions.
No, not at all. Actually, the question itself carries most of the things that one needs to require to qualify prelims. The only thing that is missing is the salt. And that salt is the practice of MCQs.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So add that salt in your preparation.
Yes, Neeraj. I think Neeraj, otherwise, I think you're on the right track of things. This is exactly what is required. And a very keen eye, very keen eye to look at things in a very peculiar manner, to grab hold the problems and everything. Yes, Vanya, even if your English is a bit weak, you can enroll. Because, we're not using any flowery language. We're not using those big words or something like that. We're using English in the general sense, which will also help you in your language paper of English. मेरे को ऐसा लगता है सर कि जो हिंदी मीडियम के बच्चे हैं या जिनकी इंग्लिश वीक होती है समझने की या कुछ लिखने की, वो ना भागते हैं इंग्लिश क्लासेस से. पर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि उनको इंग्लिश क्लासेस डेफिनेटली करनी चाहिए, लॉ की इंग्लिश क्लासेस इसलिए करनी चाहिए क्योंकि जो वो इंग्लिश क्लासेस में गेन करेंगे दैट इज ट्रमेंडस। उनको बाद में फिर इंग्लिश ऐसे के लिए नहीं प्रिपेयर करना, क्योंकि इंग्लिश का पेपर तो है, इंग्लिश में
Correct.
ऐसे लिखना ही है,
Correct.
इंग्लिश की ट्रांसलेशन करनी ही है, इंग्लिश की थोड़ी
Right.
बहुत ग्रामर भी करनी ही है। तो आप अगर इंग्लिश में ही लॉ की क्लासेस कर लोगे तो आपकी इतनी सारी चीजें कवर हो जाएंगी उसमें,
Right.
आपको दिक्कत नहीं आएगी, आपको अलग से फिर इंग्लिश पढ़नी नहीं पड़ेगी। आप समझ रहे हो,
Correct.
अगर आपने लॉ इंग्लिश में समझ ली और आपने सीख ली, और मैं ऑनेस्टली बता रही हूँ, स्पैन ऑफ 1.5 years जितने में ये चलेगा, आप डेली क्लासेस कर रहे हो, 2-2 3-3 घंटे आप इंग्लिश सुन रहे हो, और धीरे धीरे सुनो, कोई चीज मिस हो गई कोई बात नहीं, रिकॉर्डिंग है दोबारा रिविजिट कर लो, कोई चीज बिल्कुल ही समझ नहीं आई, 5 तरीके हैं रोहित सर ने अभी बताए डाउट क्लियर करने के, वो कर लो। इन एनी लैंग्वेज, डाउट क्लियरिंग तो किसी भी लैंग्वेज में है ना। बट क्लासेस को जब आप फॉलो करना स्टार्ट करोगे ना, आई ऑनेस्टली टेल यू वान्या, आफ्टर लाइक maybe after a month of classes in English, you will stop struggling. You'll be like, यही तो था, मैं ऐसे ही तो पढ़ रही थी। आप भूल ही जाओगे कि आपकी कभी इंग्लिश वीक थी। तो आप जब पढ़ रहे होगे, सुन रहे होगे क्लासेस, और आप लिखोगे साथ 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 साथ, तो आपको काम हो जाएगा, आपका सारा का सारा काम हो जाएगा साथ में। जैसे वानी आपने कहा, विशालक्षी मैम और आकांक्षा मैम दोनों ही बहुत लिखती हैं क्लास में। आई थिंक आकांक्षा मैम की भी क्लासेस पूरी भरी होती हैं पेन से, खूब ड्राइंग्स कर रही होती हैं मैम, एवरीथिंग इन, इफ यू राइट एवरी बिट ऑफ इट in your registers by yourself, you're listening, then you're thinking, and then you're writing. That's exactly what is required to learn anything at all. Any other questions anyone has, any other doubts, even if there were doubts which we couldn't answer today and you might have thought कि ये आगे आएंगे, है ना, कुछ और doubts हो सकते हैं। um, so okay sir, let's take this last question. So how to, okay, we have to, okay, a question got deleted which I was about to read. Vanya, soon the WhatsApp group will be formulated soon, tomorrow or day after max to max. You will have a WhatsApp group, and all the information you will get from there. So we actually did get a question, but that question got deleted, I think. So, so why don't we talk about? Yes, I did read it. So how to balance practice and preparations? I think let's just. This is the last question we'll take up today, but otherwise everyone else
Okay.
could write to us.
Okay.
So
So both of them actually they are not different. They are part of the same process. For example, if you want to excel in practice, you must develop this habit of reading the law daily, not only for the cases that you are preparing, not only to give advices to your clients, but on daily basis, something new, something new. Some code procedures are to be observed in the initial days, right? Then those code procedures will give you practical advantage when you are attempting the answers, right? So whatever you are studying for the examinations will be helpful in practice. Whatever you're learning from practice, you can implement those things in the preparation. So I don't see both of them as separate things. I see both of them as part of the same process, right? So yeah, the time management can be something that we need to work with, and that time management has to be very individualized. So for somebody who has to travel a lot, we will have some different tips for them. So somebody who lives very nearby to the workplace, they will have a different schedule. So that scheduling has to be adjusted, but you must not develop this tendency of looking these two things separately. That is what I'm trying to say. So the moment you do it, then it becomes a frustrating thing. You will always have this thought back at the back of your you know mind that okay, when will I revise for the exams? I'm still at the court or I'm still at the office, right? So you are not realizing one thing, that many a times in the interview stage, when the judges are interviewing you, if you lack practical aspect, sometimes it can go the other way, right? So please don't treat the two things as separate things. You must, the prosperity will be at that place when these two things will meet. Just like hot water current and cold water current, when they meet at the sea, then the most vegetation in the sea will be at that spot. So it is like that.
That's a beautiful anecdote. Absolutely, absolutely, sir. So I'm just going to quickly answer this one question. That how do I practice answer writing on ruled or unruled pages? Depending on the state. If your target state is UP, unruled pages. If your target state is Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, then ruled sheets. Depending on that, right? But it's always a good idea to do it on unruled. Ruled you can always do, right? Ruled is not that difficult. We've been doing it all our lives. So if your target state is in any form, UP, unruled. Okay. Ma'am, sir, last question. Rohit sir. How to overcome the fear of mains writing, answer writing means, how to begin with the same and improve a period of time. Neeraj, so I have just one very quick suggestion here. So Neeraj, the idea, this is also for the students who are already enrolled with us and for other students all. Because I see that students who are enrolled with us are also here. So we are going to have weekly tests, which will be objective and subjective. This is for the same purpose that you do away with your fear, right? That you write whatever you know, you get that checked. Even if it's wrong, how does it matter? How does it matter? It's a practice, no? अभी तो कोई फाइनल हुआ नहीं है, ये तो प्रैक्टिस सेशन चल रहा है. इसमें गलती ही करने के लिए करना है, ये करना ही गलती करने के लिए है. इसका पर्पस है ही नहीं कि आप सही चीज लिखो, आप फुल मार्क्स टारगेट करो, कि आप टेम्प्ट हो जाओ घर में बैठे हुए हो कि मैं नोट्स खोल के देख लूं या मैं बेयर एक्ट खोल के प्रोविजन देखकर अच्छा आंसर लिख कर देखूं. आपको हमें इंप्रेस नहीं करना, आपको आपके फैकल्टीज को इंप्रेस नहीं करना बहुत अच्छा आंसर लिखकर. आपको यही करना है कि आपको हर हफ्ते उठना है सुबह. सैटरडेज को आपके टेस्ट होंगे, आपने उठना है सुबह, आपने एक रूटीन बनाई हुई है, वो रूटीन चलेगी ही चलेगी सैटरडेज को, पॉइंट ब्लैंक. इट शुड बिकम सेकेंड नेचर. आफ्टर अ स्टेज, आफ्टर अ फ्यू मंथ्स, इट शुड बिकम कि मैंने आज टेस्ट नहीं लिखा है, आज मैंने आंसर राइटिंग प्रैक्टिस नहीं की है, मेरा खाना डाइजेस्ट नहीं हो रहा. इट शुड एब्सोल्युटली बिकम अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सेकेंड नेचर, दैट आपने टाइमिंग्स और स्लॉट्स बना लिए हैं अपने कि मैंने यही इस टाइम पे करना ही करना है. वरना पता क्या, ये फियर कभी नहीं निकलेगा, ये निकलेगा ही नहीं है फियर, ये कभी नहीं निकलता. मैंने जितने मेंस आंसर्स लिखे हैं, मैंने यही रियलाइज किया है कि जिस प्रेपरेशन के टाइम पे मैंने ये सोचना बंद कर दिया था कि मेरी प्रेपरेशन पूरी नहीं है अभी, आई विल नॉट अपीयर फॉर मॉक्स, बट आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग फॉर मॉक्स इवन इफ माय प्रेपरेशन वाज नॉट कंप्लीट. एक बार तो पढ़ा ही है ना, तभी तो आप लिख पा रहे हो, तभी तो आप सोच रहे हो कि आप आंसर राइटिंग करोगे. आप ये सोचो कि नहीं मैं पहले सब लर्न करूं और फिर आंसर राइटिंग करूं, फिर वो कभी नहीं हो रही, फिर वो कभी नहीं हो रही, वो एग्जाम में भी नहीं होगी. मैं बहुत ही हार्शली बोल रही हूँ, पर नहीं हो रही, ना एग्जाम में होने वाली है. आपके दिमाग में जो भी ब्लॉक है आंसर राइटिंग करने से पहले का, कि मैंने पढ़ नहीं रखा, मैंने रिवाइज नहीं किया, मैंने केस लॉज के नाम नहीं याद किए, सब भूल जाओ. कुछ दिमाग लगाना ही नहीं है आंसर राइटिंग से पहले. क्वेश्चंस आइडेंटिफाई करने, आंसर लिखने, बात खत्म. If you're a part of our JSIP 2.2 program, you don't have to do it. You just have to wake up in the morning, write answer, send it to us. That's it. We'll check it. We'll tell you where to improve. You do this exercise over 2 months and you will feel that there was never a time where you never wrote exam answers. And people who are not enrolled with us, still, you make a schedule. You identify the questions which you're supposed to solve the next day, one night before. और बिल्कुल सो जाना है उसके बाद. ये नहीं कि सोचना है कि क्या क्वेश्चन था, मैं रिवाइज कर लूं, कल मुझे आंसर लिखना है. ये सब नहीं करना. या तो अपना टेस्ट पेपर रखो जो उसी टाइम निकाल के करोगे. यही प्रॉब्लम है, जब आप अपने आप कर रहे होते हो ना, मन में कई बार आता है यार ये वाला तो मुझे नहीं आता, मैं ये वाला कर लेता हूँ, इसकी प्रैक्टिस करें. नहीं, द आइडिया इज टू राइट दोस क्वेश्चंस व्हिच यू डोंट नो द आंसर ऑफ, टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड टेस्ट योरसेल्फ दैट हाउ गुड योर मेमोरी इज, हाउ मच इट इज वर्किंग, राइट? सो दैट्स द आइडिया नीरज. जो भी है, सिट विद योरसेल्फ, थिंक कि मेरे को क्यों नहीं हो रही, और बस करना है. Rohit, sir, parting words. I think I've just become too emotional here.
I think it pretty much addresses the question from all the angles. Just one more thing that I would like to add. we test you both on problem-based questions and direct questions.
Right.
So that fear is addressed. And the problem-based questions will be based either on the landmark cases, or for example, Sharad Birdich and Sharda is a very old case, but you found this a question. It was based on this particular case only, the exact same facts in Delhi in 2021 or 2022, I think.
That's what.
Right. So we will be framing questions on landmark judgments as well as the recent ones, so that every single aspect of whatever fear you have for answer writing, it will be addressed. Right?
Absolutely.
That is the
Absolutely.
only, and just stick to the process. I think the journey can become very time taking at sometimes. Sometimes you'll be confused. Sometimes you will have this idea of giving up. Sometimes the orders, the delayed orders, the delayed judgments can be very frustrating. But hang in there. Don't lose your patience. Whosoever loses the
Right.
patience loses the battle.
True.
The way we have seen just with India and Pakistan, right? Right. So we must not lose our patience.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely, sir.
and to clarify, it was Pakistan. They have
Yes, sir.
thought it through. They would not have done it. Right?
True.
Okay.
True. So with this, I wish everyone who's joined us today for this session of all the best wishes from our side. Do write to us, judiciary@livelawmedia.in, for whatever help you need, any guidance you require. For the ones who have already enrolled in our course, you will be made into WhatsApp groups and everything, and you will have a mentor you can call and talk to them. And for those who are not enrolled with us, still just message us, still mail us. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to help you in whatever capacity that we can, right? So just study hard, keep learning, keep trying to learn more, and all the very best for your future endeavors. And we'll continue to do such sessions. I really enjoyed talking to all of you today, and please forgive me if I've mispronounced anyone's name, because I feel I've done that. So please forgive me for that. And so all the best, everyone. Have a great evening ahead. Thank you, Rohit sir. Thank you for
Thank you
joining
very
us.
much. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And we sincerely think that all of you will succeed in your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening ahead. Bye, everyone. See you next time.